okay. I think that the acceptance factor of what's going on has kind of settled in a bit, so I'm a little bit less, I'm kind of more in the mindset of like, whatever happens,
right.
And we'll work through it. And if we don't work through it, it's totally fine, just because this doesn't work out, I'll go on to do other things. So, that's kind of where I'm at mentally now.
Cool. Before we get started today, if you would introduce yourself to everyone that's watching or that will tune in later. Who are you? What do you own?
Okay. I'm Tammy, and I own Imagine Play in Elk Grove, California, which is really close to Sacramento, which is the state capital of California. And we've owned Imagine Play for Imagine Play has been open for about 2.5 years, almost 3 years now. Yeah.
Cool. And I know that we're going to be talking about pivoting in our businesses right now, but can you tell me or tell the people who are watching how long your business has been closed due to COVID-19?
Okay, so I think that mandatory closure was more around, I think the week of I don't remember exactly, but the week of the 16th or something like that.
Okay.
And I actually voluntarily closed my doors 3 days prior to that, before they even set any mandatory closures for any non-essential businesses. So it's probably been about 2.5, 3 weeks now. And didn't the president just extend it to April 30th or something like that?
April 30th, I think I heard yesterday.
Yeah. So we had rescheduled a lot of our special events for after the quarantine period for our county, which was April 7th.
Okay.
But now I feel like I'm going to have to extend it even until June,
right,
or even July,
right.
Which is going to upset a lot of people, I feel like. But at this point, there's really nothing we can do on our end, So
Truly.
we're just, yeah.
We're
just trying to roll with the punches.
Yeah, you just roll with it. I have a question for you, because this has been something I've been talking with a lot of indoor play space owners and gym owners about lately. So once the stay-at-home order is lifted and you're able to open your store back up, do you think people are going to come? What's your thought?
I think we will have a decrease in admissions, probably about 50%. I don't think it's going to ramp up back right away. I do think that there is a lot of logical people out there where they know that this quarantine only is really just preventing the spread, mass spread of it. Eventually down the line, most people will get it anyway. So I do understand. So I think there's people out there that they totally understand that, they can't just live their life in a bubble, So those are still people are going to still go out. But I do think there's still people out there that are just gonna be I'm not gonna do anything, just, be totally overly cautious and, and still stay home and still not go out and do stuff. So I think that people are still going to be very cautious and careful, and they're not going to come out as much. And I think that is really going to affect your bottom line during the summer, especially where there's places like us where we're super hot during the summer and people want a place to escape because they can't go out to the playgrounds because it's 100 degrees or something. So
truly. So I have a question, another question. I was on an indoor playground call, and a couple of the indoor playground owners said that people were still calling them now to find out if they were still open, even during this shutdown, if you would, because I know some businesses have still been open. Have you been receiving calls about people asking if you are still open?
Honestly, truly, I went in and changed my voicemail to basically say that we were closed, and I basically, for my peace of mind, I changed my voicemail to basically address all the big questions that we had, which is what are we doing about playgrounds? What are we doing about birthday parties? What are we doing about memberships? What are we doing about special events? Just because I didn't want the stress of having to receive those phone calls of people being angry, or so I don't really know if people are calling in asking if we're open. I do remember that right before the shelter in place, or even right after the shelter in place, we did get a couple of phone calls, people asking if we were open on a certain day or something like that. And I was just kind of no, there's a shelter in place. We're closed, yeah. But I
Gotcha.
haven't been there to to receive any phone calls. I haven't been answering any phone calls. No, I haven't.
Smart.
Yeah. And the reason for that was because I've been talking to a lot of indoor playground owners around me, and they're just getting so much stress and so much flack for the birthday parties that they had to cancel and all this stuff, And honestly, during this time, I just feel like we as business owners are already stressed enough, and I really just want to take the time to enjoy my family, and just deal with all that business headache later.
Exactly.
So
I hear you.
yeah.
We are going to talk about how you're enjoying your family. You have turned me on to something that's been really cool, TikTok. So we'll talk about that in a few, but I want to talk to you about how you've pivoted as a business owner since this has happened. What's going on with you at Imagine Play? How have you shifted a bit to still be able to bring money into your business?
So really early on, what we did was we went through all our old supplies and put together art and craft kits that didn't cost me anything, just because I already had all the supplies already in-house that we had stored over the years that we've been open. And so I put together a lot of art and craft kits, and those sold out right away. And then I posted on social media asking for help and asking people to buy gift cards. And I think that the first couple of days of gift card sales went really, really well. And it generated, I think, over about 1K for us. That was just in gift card sales. But then, and then art and craft sales. So we just kind of been doing that over the time. But I think that as time goes on, people are a little bit more stringent with their money right now, because most people do not have jobs. So you're going to find it a little bit harder to even sell sensory kits or anything like that, in my opinion. So this is probably going to go into your next question, but I really think that we should encourage more of the indoor playground owners, or any businesses in general, to start thinking, maybe brainstorming a list of what you're going to do maybe after the fact. Like what skills are you going to employ after the fact to make money, to bring back a little bit some of that income that you're not going to be able to get when we do open our doors.
Exactly. So I know that you are doing those kits. I've seen a lot of indoor playground owners and their employees doing online classes or live to showcase some of the activities they do inside of their spaces. Have you been doing that? And what do you think about that?
I think that's great. I think that if you have the skills necessary to do that, and you were already doing it in your play space, then you should do that. My playground in particular didn't have any classes because I tried to do them, and the demographic for my playground just wasn't very receptive to them. But I do see a lot of indoor playground owners bringing their classes online and stuff like that. And I just think that's just a great idea. And if you have the personality for it, then definitely do it. And one of the things that I was playing with was that one of the things we do really well is we have really great princesses for our playground. And I thought about contacting our princesses and maybe asking them, hey, would you want to do some sort of one-on-one meetings with birthday party kids that maybe have missed out on their birthday for March or April. It's just a lot of logistics that kind of goes involved in that. And, I would have to meet with them to give the dresses, do backgrounds for them, stuff like that. And, because we want to limit as much contact as possible, I also want to protect my employees from not, having to come into work to grab all those essential things. So I don't know yet. So I'm thinking about it.
Got it. So with your craft kits, you basically grabbed all the stuff from your business, brought it home, and started putting the stuff together, or are you going back and forth to your business to? So
I actually ran out of all the free items that we had, or all the items that we had stored at Imagine Play. So those all sold out already. I really only have like 3 kits left of those. So then I started kind of more like now buying wholesale craft stuff and selling that stuff. So again, going back to now that people are a little bit more conscious about their money because they don't have money, you're probably going to see a slowdown in sales. So what I'm actually thinking now is that I might just take some of those craft kits and just maybe present it out to my special event people that may have missed out on the special event, and just saying, because right now we're giving people credit, but not everybody's happy with the credit that they're getting. So I'm probably gonna say, hey, if you don't want to use your credit, trade it for a craft kit. You can get something right now and you get something for your money, like right now. And that way, maybe less people will be upset for the fact that we're not having a special one for one, and two, they're not really getting their money back per se. But yeah.
Got it. How are you dealing with people that are upset about things that are happening with your business in regards to them? How are you handling that?
Not well. Well, I feel like
honest answer.
Yeah, we've been trained to basically, smile and treat people with kindness, which I think is, I mean, excuse my language, but I think that's a bunch of bull now, just because everybody is in a pandemic. And that I recently just received a really nasty comment on my Facebook about how he thought that he wanted my business to fail, all over a phone call that I had with a client that was upset about getting a credit for a special event.
Wow.
And I wasn't even rude to her. I mean, she basically said to me that she wanted to report me to the city for the policy that we had. And
wow.
I didn't exactly laugh in her face, but I kind of was just like, well, you can go ahead and do that, ma'am, because everybody else is waiting just like you. I mean, I wasn't outright rude to her, but I kind of gave it back to her because she was rude to me. So I just feel like at this time and moment in time, if you call somebody and you're going to be outright vulgar or rude to them, expect it back. If you're going to give it, then you should take it, right? Yeah. And so
I hear you. Do you feel like people aren't being empathetic? Maybe, when I was a counselor, we always use the term lay people. I think that sometimes when people haven't experienced something, they don't really know how to logically understand something. So maybe it's hard for them to have empathy for business owners. What do you think about that?
I mean, I think that people should feel however they want to feel, right? It's America. You have every right to feel annoyed or whatever. But what I'm trying to say is that if you want to project your annoyance on me, then don't be surprised if I project it back on you. That's that kind of thing. And then if I do project it back on you, then don't be posting about, that I was rude to you, because you were rude to me first. I don't know what to say. So, but I will say that what I did was, for most of those things, I went in to my website. I drafted a very long but educational email about what we're doing about certain things, right? I posted it on my blog. I made it the front page of my website. So anybody that went to my website would be able to read it right away and get the answers they're looking for, okay? All my email, I set it to automatic response. Anybody that emailed us would get a link back to that blog, okay? Our phone calls, the same thing. Our voicemails, the same thing. Anybody that called would have the same information, just because I was so stressed out and having such high anxiety of the amount of people that were being outright rude to us just because we didn't give them the response they wanted to hear, Right. And at this moment in time, I can't change that response because I only have a certain amount of money in my bank account, and my rent is due in 3 days. So I totally get where people are coming from there, but at the same time, like, we all are in the same hardship, so you're going through a hardship, but we are too. So we can only do what we can do on our end to kind of save our business. And that might seem selfish to some people, but like, I can't, if things change, then we are happy to change the decision, but nothing right now has changed for small businesses anyway.
Truly. I find that people don't really get that everyone is trying to figure this out. From government down to the little man, we're all trying to figure this out. We're all trying to figure out what we should do next, what tomorrow's going to look like, and what we need to be doing today to prepare for the future. So, I kind of find it ironic that people are giving small businesses a hard time when, our big governments, not just our government here, but across the world, really, they're all trying to figure it out. We haven't had a pandemic in this world, on this global planet, in years. So I think it's something that possibly people weren't prepared for, and they're trying to figure things out just like we are.
Yeah, I mean, things are changing every day almost, so you never know. tomorrow they could say we have everything contained and it's lifted. Yay,
Right.
you know, or not. You know, they could say, you know what, we're gonna extend this until July 14th. So you don't know what's going to happen. And I just think that everybody just needs to maybe just go down to the bigger picture here and just concentrate on your time off and enjoying your cup of coffee, you know, the simple things, you know, and then worrying about all that stuff later when we've actually heard all the information and that we can deploy it correctly, you know. But I mean, my biggest concern for most small businesses right now is just that they just have to be aware that I know a lot of us are hopeful, and I do think that, you know, as an entrepreneur, you should fight until the end. You know, we shouldn't quit, but I also think that we should all sit down logically one of these days. You as a business owner, sit down logically, brainstorm the ideas that you have to grow your business that you have currently now, but also think of other things that you can do to bring in revenue outside of this. And you and I talk about this a lot, additional revenue for your business. But now it's like even more important to start thinking about those things. Even if the additional revenue doesn't currently really impact your business right now, but what skills did you have before to kind of bring in to make money in the future? Honestly, after we're able to open?
Yeah, I think that the word of the year for small business owners, it should be pivot, because we've all had to figure out, including me, have had to figure out what we can do in order to sustain our lifestyles and ourselves and our family and just everything in general. So in that aspect, this is ironic, I find, because I feel like 2 months ago you and I were talking about pivoting, and this situation was not on our radar, and we were already talking about additional streams of revenue. But have you had time to sit down and think about things that you would like to do with your business moving forward once you do get open? Has this time sparked any new ideas with you, or allowed you to have time to work on new projects that you'd like to have happen in your facility later on? Or with another business that you want to add?
Yeah, I mean, if you know anything about me, you know that I'm interested in like tons of different aspects of my life. Yes. I'm interested in, you know, social media influencing. I'm interested in YouTubing. I'm interested in TikTok. You know, I'm interested in photography. I mean, those things. One of these days, I would like to step back and do a little bit more, you know, like a little bit less presence at Imagine Play. I don't know if that can happen now because of where we're at now, but I haven't sat down specifically to write down all my ideas, but I have thoughts about where Imagine Play is going to go as far as pricing goes, as far as how we're going to do open play. I think in one of our conference calls, we talked about maybe doing more of a scheduled play, just because I think that people are going to be scared about going out. And if you have more of a scheduled play, it's a little bit more structured, so they know that there's only going to be a certain amount of people there. And and then it kind of guarantees you a reservation up front so that you know how many people are actually coming through the door during a scheduled time. So I think that's kind of what we're going to be moving forward on when we first kind of open our doors. And so that's kind of a couple of things that I just been thinking about really recently, what's going to happen right after we open our doors, and trying to implement that in place so that way when we do open our doors, it can just roll out right away, you know?
Truly.
But then other things I'm thinking about really is mostly just how to bring in income outside of just my play space. You know, I'm probably gonna look into marketing some mini sessions for my photography, like right as soon as my social in place is lifted. I'm gonna roll it out and say, hey, I'll have these mini sessions. They're gonna be for this date. Book them or whatever. You know, just so I can not really sustain Imagine Play, but sustain myself. You know,
honestly, it's about your family.
And really, this is the time for you guys to really invest yourself in your passion projects, things that you guys haven't been able to do in the past. You know, like sometimes I always like to educate people with doing videos on YouTube and stuff like that. I've never ever really had the time. It takes such a long time.
You would be perfect at that.
Yeah. I mean, it just takes such a long time to record a video, edit the video, get it up and going and stuff like that. So I just feel like this is like a great time if you're wanting to do that, you know, and if you're into learning photography or something like that, then do that, you know, if you're into video blogging, do that. So
Really.
definitely look into those. And also I've been looking into on how to maybe make a lot more money doing stuff online. Like for me, just for instance, I'm a photographer and I know that a lot of stock photography places are looking for like videos, like small short clip videos of little things, you know. So I'm gonna spend my time on walks shooting short videos and uploading those, stuff like that, you know. So you just little things like that. Or I heard about
there's a market for everything nowadays, right?
Yeah. Yep, of course, yeah. So whatever you're passionate about, go look it up online and see if you can make money off of it and start doing that, because you have 6 weeks or 8 weeks or 3 months or whatever, you know, to do those things. So let's do those things. But I do have to say that it is kind of intriguing that now that all the kids are home, that it almost seems like you don't have enough time because you're worried about
Isn't that crazy?
taking care of your kids.
I know. I think I went to bed last night or the night before last thinking, why do I feel so exhausted? Why do I feel like I've done a ton of things today? Why do I feel like I still don't have time? So it's definitely fascinating, right? I think we as people, we always find things to fill up our time. We're in a constant state of busy and feeling like we need to do.
Right.
So, you know, it's interesting. It has been very interesting and fascinating to me as well, but I'm really trying to focus on the present and be present with my family, yet continue to do some of those passion projects that you're talking about and pivot myself where I can be prepared for what's next.
Yeah, definitely.
I find it really cool, like I said before, all the cool things that I see businesses doing now that are things that they haven't done before. Have you thought about possibly doing some of the things you're doing now to sustain yourself in the future when your business is able to open back up again? I know you're doing the craft kits. Do you think that's something that you'd be able to continue doing later on?
I think so. I mean, we have a retail area up front, and I can definitely see the craft kits doing really well in our retail area. So I think that would probably be something that we would probably add on to our retail area. Maybe even like adding it on to some sort of special event or something like that, you know. Just providing more value for people, or perceived value for people, is really ideal, and I guess pricing wise. So yeah, I definitely can see the craft kits doing well. I also think that at this time, because Facebook and Instagram and all this stuff, their algorithm is just so jacked up, you know, that even though you're posting out your marketing for certain things, you know, for instance, my craft kits, it's not really reaching the potential people that you would want it to reach. So maybe even starting an online store or something like that, so that way you have a better reach of outside of your market, might be helpful too. Yeah, so just kind of some thoughts that people might want to think about if they're like wanting to post their sensory kits and stuff like that. Packaging is key on all those things. So you just want to up your packaging, you know, and then take some really cool pictures and post it out there so that people can buy it. Because I think that everybody all over the world is looking for solutions to keep their kids busy at this point. So anything that you can do to kind of help with that could really help you thrive at this moment. Yeah.
So one of the things that I have done is start this Place-Based Solutions live, honestly, based off of you and I doing this for the first time a couple of weeks ago. I got this idea from that. So thank you for the inspiration. And something that has kind of come up for me in my thought process is that all of these businesses are posting videos of their story times and circle times and yoga and dance classes and whatever they're posting. But I want to be sure that owners don't forget to understand the value of what you're putting out there, and to understand that there's always a way to be able to monetize whatever you're doing. You talked about things being online and understanding how to make money from that. Something that I really wanted to look up based on me doing my first live with you and doing it with a couple of other people was that I can actually save this live video that we're doing now and then cut it as I need to, edit it, and then post it in other places so that way it can play again. So for those people that are doing live videos or posting videos on their social media, make sure you save those videos. Make sure you repurpose those videos and put them in other places so people can find them again later, or save them and then monetize them later once you're back open so you can make money off of those videos that you put out there during this time later on, because people are always going to seek information and seek all the cool things we're putting out there for free right now.
Right. Yeah. Content, right? Just putting yourself out there as much as possible so that way anybody that is attracted to you will come check out other things that you're doing. So
Really?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And I definitely think that right now is kind of the time for those people that might be too scared to get in front of the camera to really jump over that hurdle, because your business needs it.
Yeah, for sure. So speaking of that, you, I love you and I love your personality and I love you on TikTok. You crack me up. If you guys haven't been on TikTok yet, I would encourage you guys to. Tammy and I are of the older generation, and TikTok is supposed to be for the younger people, but Tammy told me a couple of weeks back, it's super fun. And I was like, I don't know. But man, I've been on TikTok for a couple of weeks and I've had a blast. It's been a lot of fun. I've been repurposing my TikTok videos and putting them on my favorite platform right now, which is Facebook. So it's fun to see the videos traveling between the different platforms and seeing what they can do in different places. So thank you for that. Tell us how you have pivoted with your family. I know before we got on this, you were setting your own kid up for some online things. My daughter is in her room right now, online with a teacher. At home, we've been going for walks. We went for a family walk last night, and it's something that we don't normally do. My husband usually walks the dog while I'm prepping my daughter for the next day for school. And everyone in my household was able to go out for a family walk last night, including my mom. So what have you been doing in your own home to pivot during this time?
My son has been very lucky that he goes to a public charter school here in Elk Grove. It's Montessori inspired. And in his school, I think that they did really well in predicting what was going to happen. So the Friday before they announced all the school closures, they sent home 2 big workbooks for all the kids in his class. And they said, this is just in case. This is just in case that we have to close. And so he got 2 workbooks. They're like writing, journaling workbooks and things like that. And his school uses this platform called Parent Square. And his teacher has been sending out us emails every single day or every single week, basically saying these are worksheets that you guys can be using this week. And then they have a story time every single day, which is what he's on now. So usually what we do is they even sent us out a kind of a schedule that we should go by. So the good thing about, and not all kids are like this, but the good thing about a Montessori inspired school is that it's very independent learning. So, and my son's very used to that. So it's really nice that, I don't really have to sit there and like teach him a lesson plan. It's more of like he's learned to like really be self-taught. These are the instructions. This is what you need to do. For instance, his journaling, his teachers don't really sit there and like spell out every single word for them. They say, this is the sentence. I'm going to read you the sentence and you need to spell it out how you think it's going to be. It doesn't really matter if it's right or wrong kind of thing.
Right, true.
But anyway, so we've kind of been using that. So how we do is we just kind of wake up in the morning. They have breakfast. They usually watch a little TV. And then right before story time, we usually try to sit down and do a couple worksheets. I don't really sit there with him and like make sure that I don't really, sit there and like teach him every single thing, but I give him the instruction. I said, this is what you need to do, kind of thing. And I just sit there just to make sure that he's staying on task, basically. And then he does his Zoom story time. And then we usually do a picnic lunch outside because it's really nice outside. I let them play tea party or whatever it is, you know. Then we usually try to go on a walk or do some sort of extracurricular like activity, you know, just gym time, I guess that's what they call it. And then usually by that time, it's like time to make dinner, you know, more iPad time and sleep, you know. So it's really interesting how, you know, even though you're home the whole day, how it really does having to be with your kids the whole day really does affect the majority of your time most of the day to even get any task done. So, luckily this morning I was able to apply for that funding or whatever from
SBA disaster assistance. Yeah. Do you want to speak a little bit about that before we get off today? Like, I know that funding is something that people are seeking. So what are your thoughts about what the government is offering for businesses here in America?
So based off of what the person in the group posted, it said that it was supposed to be a grant, so it's not a loan. And I read a little bit on it, and it basically said it could give you up to $10K as a grant, and they're not asking you to pay it back at all. And they will, if you qualify, then it would still be available. It'll be available to you in your bank account within 3 days, which I really think is a stretch. I don't think that that's true, but you never know. Maybe in 3 days I will have the money. I don't know. I'll let you guys know.
Do you remember, for the people that are watching, what website that was? Was that SBA? What was that?
It is the SBA one. So you just go to SBA. They have this yellow bar right across the top that says COVID-19 Disaster Relief Fund. Click here and just click there. And it's really simple. It's like a 10-minute process. And it just asks, and you will most of us will qualify because we're under 500 employees. So you just click you just click the first one, and then they'll just go straight through. It will ask you some questions that don't apply to you. So just do all the starred ones that you kind of know about. And then hopefully they will have that out to us soon, because I do know that rent is due in a few weeks, and there are a lot of landlords out there that are not even entertaining any negotiations at all. Yeah.
Not at all. I wanted to know from you, were you able to keep your employees on your payroll, or did you encourage them to go apply for unemployment?
So the sad thing is most of my employees are part-time, so I really don't think that they can apply for unemployment because they're mostly high school students. My one employee, or my one employee that would apply for unemployment because she does have kids, she actually made a really good decision at the time. She applied for a part-time job at Walmart right before the COVID-19 pandemic presented itself. And so now she's working at Walmart, and obviously Walmart is giving them tons of hours. So so she made the smart decision there, or maybe she just got lucky and got hired at Walmart during just the right time. So she's all fine. So I don't think she's going to be applying for unemployment because she's working many hours at Walmart already. So
Has this come up for you? I know we are in this is the third week or second week that this has been going on?
I think we're going on week 3 now, right? Because I did a vlog for week 1 and week 2. I did a vlog for week 2 yesterday. So then this Sunday I'll be doing week 3. So we're going on week 3.
Got it. Do you worry that your employees will not come back?
No. I'm not worried because most of my employees are high school students, and I don't think they're worried about money at this point, you know. I think their parents are probably worried about money, but my high school students probably are not worried about money. And my, like I said, my other 2 that are older, one of them is working at Walmart, and the other one, he doesn't have any bills, so I don't think he cares either. So he's lucky,
right?
Yeah, that's the life. Yeah. I want to keep my employees on as much as possible. Like I said, maybe I will reach out to some of my princesses today and ask them, hey, would you be interested in doing some sort of princess story time sing along just for birthday party kids? I don't know. Or maybe we would do it in this format where we'll have them come on for a cash donation or whatever, you know. How you've been finding the donation part is working well? I guess that would be one thing. I don't know. Some businesses
that's kind of crazy. Jinx, because I was going to talk to you about that. I know you have a GoFundMe set up right now, right?
I do. And it's
cool. So we'll talk about that just a little bit briefly. So you'll see that I have a pinned post here on our live screen. That's something that I'm in a business mastermind group, and that's one of the things that some of those business owners are talking about is that when you put up a live video or any type of video right now, you should be adding some type of sponsorship or donation link for people, because some people may want to donate. In the case of doing live videos, you have to think of it as you're broadcasting yourself, but then just like TV, they do broadcast and they gain sponsorships based on like the commercials, right? So if someone wants to sponsor the next show, or I'm showing you guys my bedroom again and my light. Hold on a second. Oh my gosh. That's what I get when I try to press that little hand that says hello to people. My finger's too big and I do the other thing. But anyways, so the advice was that you guys should post that donation information, because someone may want to sponsor your next broadcast, or someone may just want to donate money to you because they understand that you're a small business and they understand that you're not making this much money right now. I don't own an indoor playground anymore, but I do consulting. And of course, right now, most of the indoor playgrounds that I work with are closed. So they've cut me from their roster, so I'm not getting paid. Yet for some of my clients, I'm still offering advice pro bono. So I'm not getting, any income coming in either. So for me, I decided to try posting the donation links and my email address if somebody wanted to be on the show later on in the next few weeks. So I find that doing something like this is helpful because people at least have your information, and if they want to sponsor or donate, they can if they will. So definitely, if you're broadcasting live, put that information up, pin it, so people can at least see your information there. And then as far as donations for GoFundMe or Patreon or some of the other ones, I have found that quite a few indoor playgrounds and businesses, because I work with a lot of other businesses, they are definitely gaining donations from people, because I find that people do want to see other people succeed, especially if you are doing something to benefit the community. So if you go on to GoFundMe's website, you're going to see a lot of different businesses if you scroll through. And I mean, I think the proof is there that you see a lot of businesses are slowly gaining money in that bucket, if you would, that they have set up. So I don't think it hurts. I know that another business owner recently said to me that she didn't think it was her duty as a business owner to ask for donations. However, I've been doing this for quite a while, and I've owned the brick and mortar, and I've had situations happen where I didn't have enough money to make it through my next month because of some disasters that happened in my area. I'm in Florida, so hurricanes. And in the beginning, I felt the same way. I had customers to set up a GoFundMe for me. It worked. And from that point on, I never felt bad about asking for help when I needed it. As indoor playgrounds, we don't make a lot of money, right? So I think it's okay to ask for help. And yes, I have seen the donations be successful. Make sure that if you are setting up something for people to donate to you, you make it easy and you give them multiple ways to donate to you. You have Square, correct?
I have Square, and I think Square did set up something for people you be able to accept donations. And then I opened up a Venmo, which I didn't have one before, so we'll do that. Yes. And then a GoFundMe. But here's the thing, though. I know that you're saying that you should set up some way for people to donate, but I also think that if you set up too many ways for people to donate, you might not be able to get all your money. Because this is what I'm finding, that since I have a GoFundMe plus a Venmo, people are donating in two separate spots. So what happens is that your goal for GoFundMe you might not be able to reach your goal for GoFundMe. Yeah, so maybe just trying to find one way, one avenue where people can send all their money is ideal. I think, instead of just trying to say, okay, you can donate to all these places, so.
Yeah. I think giving options, I know, like for me recently, someone said, do you have a Cashapp? I didn't have a Cashapp. I was so against Cashapp and Venmo. And so for a long time, and honestly, it's because I'm old. But I finally set up a Cash App, and people started putting money in that Cash App. In the case of GoFundMe right now, if you are using GoFundMe, I definitely say push the GoFundMe, and for this reason, GoFundMe right now is matching your donations. If you get up to $500, I believe it is, GoFundMe and Yelp have partnered together where they are matching the donations of $500 or more. So in your GoFundMe, you just have to raise at least $500 and then they'll match it. So in this case right now, if you are using GoFundMe, I'd say push everyone to do your GoFundMe.
Yeah. And then I talked about this before too. If you are doing GoFundMe, which I haven't had time to, but somebody sent me kind of like a message and saying, hey, I have some ideas to make your GoFundMe better. Because I put mine up like super quick. I just was like, I just need to do this so I can get this out. But he was just saying, you know, write down like a kind of a story about the, you know, the reason why you have your you opened your business. Do a lot more pictures. You know, you want people to, you want people to relate to you when they come to your GoFundMe. So you know, just thinking about that when you do start your GoFundMe, spend actually some time, you know, putting your heart on there. The other thing is, I know that, you know, you touched bases on this, but right now it's a pride thing, right? Yeah. I'm actually kind of embarrassed at some of the videos that I posted out because I don't want people to know that my business wasn't doing well or is not doing well or whatever, you know? And I'm envious of people that were doing super well and they're just kind of like, okay, well, I'm just going to take this time to, you know, enjoy my life and not worry about anything kind of thing. I wish I was in that state. I wish I didn't have to say, guys, I don't know if I'm going to be able to open my doors. I don't know if I'm going to be able to give your money back. I don't know, you know, all these things. So we just have to get over that, our own personal pride.
It's a personal thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, my husband and I were talking about that, and what came up was Cheesecake Factory recently, or somehow the letter got out that they sent out to their landlords to say basically that they weren't paying their rent next month. And it began a conversation with my husband and I about how much of a reserve businesses truly have saved up for a disaster or for a rainy day. And I think that if we were to do more probing, we'd find that it's not just us, the small people, that don't always have that huge reserve set up. It's some of the big dogs, if you would. So I think don't be embarrassed. Don't try not to be. I know it's easier said than done. I know something that I struggled with when I did a GoFundMe some years ago is that the GoFundMe page, it lives, meaning that after your campaign is over, it's still out there. So when people were able to search for My Papaya, they were able to see that back in 2013, I had a fundraiser. So that was something I had to get over. It was a part of my business journey. I was able to survive in business for a little over 10 years because a couple of times my community saved me. Yeah. That's the reality.
And really the place-based business is a community-based business, you know.
It is.
I was telling a friend even before the pandemic happened, I said, you know what? I don't ever think I'm going to be able to become rich from Imagine Play. It's fine if I never make any money from it. You know, I just want it to be able to sustain itself so that way I can step back and maybe find other ways to make money for myself, you know. As long as Imagine Play can make enough money just to pay rent, pay its employees, that's really all I cared about in the end. If it was still around, I didn't mind, you know, owning it or anything like that. I just knew that it was never going to make a living from it the way that I wanted to.
I hear you.